Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to becoming truly well-informed, packed with surprising facts and just enough insight to keep you hooked. Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating journey. We're diving into a single source, powerful excerpts from a chilling tale called The Curse of Tunko by Srinidhi Ranganathan. Our mission today, it's not just about recounting a spooky story, not at all. Instead, we're going to unpack this narrative, like layer by layer. We'll pull out the suspense, the surprising turns, and the psychological impact. It's intense. We're talking about an encounter that blurs the lines between, ancient legend and terrifying reality. We'll explore how Ranganathan crafts the sense of dread so masterfully. Makes you question identity, the lure of forbidden places. It's brilliant, really. You're in for a truly intriguing experience.
It really is remarkable because it starts as this seemingly straightforward adventure, right? Rooted in modern Tokyo. But then it transforms so quickly into something much deeper, much more unsettling. And it pulls you right into the characters' fear, their fight for survival. But more than that, it makes you consider how a writer can make something totally unimaginable feel so incredibly real, how they draw you in with every single detail. It really challenges you to look past just the surface scares, to see the psychological depth.
Okay, let's really dig into this. It starts, as you said, in Tokyo. Super vibrant, neon-lit heart of the city. Just picture it. Gaming arcades everywhere, amazing sushi, all the wildest tech you can think of, a modern paradise, basically. And this is where our narrator, who remains unnamed, and his cousins Aki, Jin, and Kenji kick off their trip. What seems like the perfect vacation.
Yeah, and Ranganathan really emphasizes that modern sensory overload. It's deliberate. Lights, sounds, entertainment. It's the absolute last place you'd expect an ancient curse to surface.
Totally. And for the first few days, it's exactly that, pure fun. The text mentions them hitting up Akihabara.
Ah, the electric town.
Right. Drowning in arcade games, stuffing their faces with takoyaki.
You can almost taste it. Classic street food.
And buying way too much anime merch.
Yeah.
Just soaking up that pop culture. It paints this vivid picture, doesn't it? A perfect, carefree, modern vacation. You really feel like you're there with them.
It's so well established. That overwhelming sense of normalcy, of safe, predictable fun. And that's crucial. Absolutely crucial. It's a masterful narrative move.
Why crucial?
Because it sets this baseline, this comfortable, relatable world we all recognize, maybe even a trip we'd want to take. So when the extraordinary stuff starts happening, the intrusion feels way more shocking, more jarring.
Right. It's not just dropped on you.
Exactly. The contrast makes the horror visceral. You feel that dissonance with the characters because you are also lulled into that safe feeling. And Tokyo itself, this symbol of modernity, becomes this ironic backdrop to the ancient horror. Adds another layer of dread.
It makes the impossible feel real because it shatters something familiar.
Precisely. A very real, familiar world gets completely upended.
Okay, so things are great, they're having fun, but then comes the turn, the shift. And it starts with Jin. He's described as always craving the next thrill, the adrenaline junkie of the group.
There's always one, isn't there?
Seems like it. He finds this sketchy website, that's the exact phrase used, talking about a hidden shrine deep in the outskirts of Tokyo.
Sketchy website. Never a good sign in these stories.
Right, and it's not just any old shrine. It's linked to a local legend about a powerful sorcerer, Tunko Caviya.
Tunko Caviya. Even the name sounds ominous.
It does, and the legend says he never really died, his spirit still lurks. Classic horror setup.
Yeah, it taps right into that human curiosity, doesn't it? The allure of secrets, the forbidden, especially stuff you find in obscure corners of the internet or in local folklore.
And Jin's pushing for it. He wants something authentic, maybe, something beyond the usual tourist stuff.
An adrenaline rush, yeah. But he gets way more than he bargained for.
Right.
It's that classic human hubris meeting ancient power thing.
And this is where the group dynamic really kicks in, like you were saying. It shifts the tone subtly.
It's not sudden, it's insidious. The fun vacation idea starts to get this unsettling edge. And Ranganathan shows this brilliantly through their reactions. It's not just one reaction, it's varied.
Yeah, Kenji's the skeptic. He just scoffs, right? Calls it a dumb internet hoax. He's trying to be rational.
Clinging to that. Then you have Aki, who's more cautious. The pragmatist.
He asks, could be fake. But what if it isn't? That little bit of doubt.
That's the hook. The uncertainty, and it lets the possibility linger.
And then our narrator. He feels uneasy, has a bad gut feeling, but
he doesn't want to be the only coward. Peer pressure, basically. Or just not wanting to be the odd one out.
Exactly. So you've got the thrill seeker pushing, the skeptic resisting, the cautious one wondering what if, and the narrator reluctantly going along.
It's a perfect mix. It feels very real, how a group might actually decide something like this. Even with reservations, that pull of the unknown may be boosted by Jin's enthusiasm.
It drags them towards it, almost against their better judgment.
Yeah, the seeds of the bad decision are sown right there in those different reactions. Compelling setup.
So, against the narrator's gut feeling, fueled by Jin's push and Aki's what if, they do it. They hop on a late-night train.
Leaving Tokyo, leaving the familiar glow behind.
And that transition, moving from the city center to the outskirts, it's described really deliberately. It signals a huge shift in atmosphere.
The journey itself becomes symbolic, doesn't it? Like they're passing into another realm, physically and psychologically.
Yeah, separating from safety, predictability, the modern world.
Every click of the train wheels taking them further away from the known.
The source material really focuses on the sensory details here, too, to build that unease. The city sprawl, the neon, the energy. It just fades. It gives way to narrow streets lined with old wooden houses.
Paper windows, glowing saintly. It's like stepping back in time.
Totally. Away from the contemporary, towards something ancient, forgotten.
That visual shift is key. It primes you for encountering something archaic, something hidden away.
Those faint glows from the windows, they feel different from the city lights, don't they? Like hinting at older, maybe darker secrets.
Exactly. It's fantastic mood setting just through describing the environment changing and the details Ranganathan uses. Wow. It's not just visual. The air itself changes.
Yeah, that part stood out. It smelled different here. Earthy, damp, and strangely metallic.
Mm-hmm. And even though it's summer, there's a strange chill.
That's not just description, is it? It's a feeling, a premonition.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
visceral. Those specific smells, earthy like decay, damp like old places, metallic, which often hints at something unnatural and horror. Blood, maybe, and the unseasonal chill. It creates this sense of wrongness, like they've crossed an invisible boundary.
The environment itself becomes menacing.
It really does. It builds suspense so effectively, making you anticipate whatever's waiting for them.
And the journey just keeps intensifying that feeling of isolation. They're following these sketchy directions.
Winding through alleys, up a steep, overgrown path, getting lost almost.
Yeah, the words winding and overgrown make it sound suffocating, like a trap.
Metaphorically stepping into it.
And then the final break. The city lights, which were maybe a distant comfort, they disappear behind the thick trees.
Gone. They are truly cut off now. Disconnected from civilization, from help.
Utterly vulnerable. You imagine the silence must have been intense then.
Deafening, probably. Accentuating their isolation, their unease. It's a brilliant way to cut them off, visually and psychologically.
So this whole journey into remoteness, it's like a metaphor for entering forbidden territory.
Exactly. Every step takes them further from safety, into a place where the rules they know just don't apply anymore. The narrative cranks up the tension just by changing the scenery. The landscape itself feels hostile.
Underscoring that they're trespassing, moving into something ancient, maybe cursed.
And the more isolated they get, the more susceptible they become. That sense of being truly alone amplifies the terror dramatically.
Okay, so they finally arrive, after all that buildup. And the shrine, it's not what you might expect, is it?
No, not grand or imposing at all, which is almost creepier.
Right. It's barely standing. Cracked, rotting wood, roof half collapsed, a picture of decay, forgotten power.
It's not awe-inspiring, it's chilling. Like something that's endured but is just succumbing to time, to neglect. Or maybe something twisted resides there.
It immediately sets this tone of disrepair, like whatever power was there is dormant or worse.
Yeah, the opposite of a tourist attraction. It's a warning.
And then the details, vines snaked around the structure, suffocating it.
That imagery is great. Nature reclaiming it, but also like it's being deliberately smothered, maybe contained.
Holding something in. And the talismans.
Faded paper talismans covered in ancient kanji clung to the walls.
Fluttering slightly despite the still air. That part, that's really eerie. Totally impossible. Suggests an unseen presence. A breath that isn't there.
And those talismans aren't just decoration. They hint at protective magic, rituals. They become very important later, subtle foreshadowing.
So even standing there, in this super creepy place, the cousins react differently again.
Yeah, their personalities really show. Aki just says it's creepy as hell. Gut reaction. Pure unease.
Kenji, the skeptic, is still trying to dismiss it.
Yeah, we came, we saw, let's go. Wants out.
Trying to rationalize it away, retreat to safety.
But Jin, the thrill seeker who got them there,
Yeah.
he's not done. Not so fast. We need proof we were here.
The proof. The photo. The selfie at the cursed shrine. Classic.
He pulls out his phone. That modern tech again turns on the flashlight.
And inadvertently shines a light right on their doom. That seemingly small act.
It triggers everything. Because that's when the narrator hears it. Just him at first.
Oh, whisper. Low. Raspy. Coming from inside the shrine.
Seems impossible. The air was still. He asks, "Did you hear that?" And Ike's like, "What?" Confused. So it's targeted, not just ambient noise.
Then it comes again. Louder. Undeniable. Directly at them. Yousseekme.
Chilling. That direct address. Cuts right through the silence. Confirms the legend instantly. No more doubt.
Disbelief just shatters. It's real.
And that confirmation is such a powerful hook. It validates their worst fears. Makes the threat concrete.
And immediately, things escalate physically. A gust of freezing air blew through the trees.
Not just wind. A manifestation. Tunko Caviya waking up.
And the talismans. They tore away from the walls, scattering into the night.
That's huge. More than just atmosphere. It's symbolic. The protection is gone. Stripped away.
Whatever those wards were holding back.
It's free. They're completely exposed now. Vulnerable. That visual is terrifying.
And that's when he appears. Tunko Caviya steps out.
The description is potent. Designed to stick with you.
Yeah. Hunched, cloaked in black rags that seemed to ripple even though there was no wind.
That detail. The rippling rags with no wind. So unnatural. Suggests his own energy, maybe. Or that he's outside natural laws.
His skin. Paper white. Stretched tight over his skull. Skeletal. Desiccated.
Like a mummy. No life, no warmth.
But the eyes. Those eyes burned red like dying embers.
That imagery is incredible. Not a blazing fire, but this ancient, smoldering evil. Persistent. Waiting.
Contrast between the white skin and red eyes must be horrifying.
Absolutely. Decay and predatory hunger. And his voice, like dry leaves crunching underfoot.
Brittle, sinister. The sound of decay itself. And he says,
"You seek the shrine, then you seek me," claiming them, sealing their fate.
The imagery is just so vivid, sticks in your mind. Those ember eyes especially. Ancient, malevolent power.
It instantly escalates from spooky whispers to this direct, terrifying confrontation, the physical manifestation of the legend.
Which leads right to his declaration, one of you will stay forever.
Not a threat, a statement, a pronouncement. Traps them immediately. No hope left.
The reality just hits them. The narrator freezes. Pure, paralyzing fear while the others scream.
A totally visceral, understandable reaction.
And Tunko points that clawed finger right at the narrator. You, boy, you will be my vessel.
Singles him out. Reduces him to just a container. No choice, no escape. Just horrifying certainty.
Complete powerlessness. Loss of autonomy. It's deeply unsettling.
And this is where it dives into that real psychological horror beyond just monsters.
A dark shadow slithered from his fingers, described as tangible, invading.
Curling around him, creeping into my mouth, my nose, my ears. It's so intimate, so violating.
The physical feeling. His body seizes up, burning and freezing all at once.
That contradiction, burning and freezing, emphasizes how unnatural it is. The body completely thrown into chaos.
The invasion is complete.
Yeah.
And just darkness, loss of control, consciousness, self.
It's a horrifying violation. Makes you really think about what self even means.
The next moment is incredibly jarring. He wakes up, outside the shrine. Cousin's gone.
Vanished. A flicker of hope, maybe, but it's gone instantly.
Because he looks in a puddle, a simple puddle, and sees.
His face staring back at me. The twisted, grinning face of Tunko Caviya.
Total usurpation of identity. His own reflection is stolen. It's not him anymore.
And the laughter echoed in my skull like 1,000 broken voices whispering at once.
Mental invasion, too. A chorus of evil inside his head. And his voice, when he tries to speak?
Comes out raw, hollow wrong. His own vocal cords betray him. Disconnected from himself.
That loss of self, the body as a puppet, it's terrifying. Hits right at the core of who we are.
Yeah, the ember eyes, the grin in the reflection. It's visual proof of the internal struggle. A soul trapped in his own body.
And the voice being wrong just cements that detachment. The essence of him is corrupted alien.
It really forces you to ask, how do you fight back when your own body, your own voice isn't yours? How do you reclaim yourself when the enemy's inside?
Makes the horror so personal, inescapable.
And the internal battle is fierce. He tries to fight, gritting his teeth, trying to move his own limbs, trying to speak.
Whispering, no, you can't have me. That defiance, even now, is powerful. Shows that will to survive, to remain whole.
But the darkness reacts. The shadows around the shrine pulse, deepen, like they're offended by his resistance.
And Tunko whispers, sounding almost bored by the struggle, it is already done.
Chilling. Then the twist. Your friends have fled, but they will return, and when they do, you will bring them to me.
So cruel. Using his own body, his familiar form, to lure his cousins back to their doom.
Diabolical. And it gets worse. Tunko implants this vision.
Oh, yeah. He forces the narrator to see Jin, Aki, and Kenji standing at the shrine, faces frozen in horror as I reached for them.
My fingers twisting into talons, their screams cut short as the shadows swallow them whole.
It's incredibly specific, a psychological torture tactic designed to break his will completely.
By making him envision harming his own family, it creates this unbearable internal conflict, fight for himself or protect them.
But that vision, that horror, seems to fuel his resistance too. There's a piercing shriek from inside him.
And the shadows recoil, even just for a fraction of a second.
It shows his will is stronger than Tunko expected. That brief moment of pushback.
It's pivotal, a tiny, terrifying flicker of hope, and proof that resistance is possible, however brief.
And that fraction of a second is everything. He uses it, he runs.
Blindly stumbling through the woods, branches clawing, Tunko's laughter echoing, pure desperation.
A physical ordeal on top of the mental torment. But then, hope. Real hope.
He sees them. Jin, Aki, and Kenji stood at the edge of the forest, panting, eyes wide with terror. Alive.
This is it, the moment of truth. Internal battle meets external reality, a chance for rescue.
But the reunion, it's not relief, is it? It's more horror.
No. As he stumbles towards them, their faces twist, not in recognition, but in pure terror.
Kenji, the skeptic, goes pale. Finally sees the undeniable truth.
Aki pulls Jin back. He recognizes the danger immediately, because they see the changes.
The physical proof of the possession.
My hands longer, thinner, tipped with darkened nails.
Ugh.
My shadow stretched, writhing unnaturally.
Wow.
My breath visible, curling in the warm night air like smoke.
These aren't subtle. They're grotesque, supernatural transformations.
Yeah.
Clear signs he's not him.
So when he pleads, "Guys, it's me, it's agonizing," the visual evidence screams otherwise.
Yeah, that scene captures the horror from their perspective perfectly. How terrifying it must be to see your friend like that.
Makes their hesitation totally understandable. It's a profound choice for them. Believe the friend or the monster they see.
Add another layer of emotional weight. What would you do?
Right before they can decide, though, agony hits the narrator again. He collapses.
Tunko's voice roars, "Foolish child, you cannot resist me forever." A final surge of control.
Looks like it's over. Extreme vulnerability. But then Aki, he acts.
Quick thinking, loyalty, terror. He'll pull something from his pocket. A handful of paper talismans.
The talismans from the shrine.
Yes, the payoff. That subtle detail comes back. Hard. Aki's quick thinking. Maybe remembering the legends. Or just pure instinct.
It's crucial. He slaps them onto the narrator's body, and the effect is immediate.
Ancient symbols burned like fire, sending sharp tendrils of pain through my skin. Visceral. Agonizing. Real power.
And Tunko screamed. Pain, rage, proof that the talismans are working.
It's a fantastic moment. That seemingly small detail becomes the key to salvation. The battle is truly joined.
The climax is just explosive. The world shattered. Light, shadow, pain.
Shadows erupted from my body, writhing and twisting like living snakes, clawing at the talismans. A violent exorcism.
Tunko screaming, "You are mine! You cannot!"
But he's cut short. A final explosion of light bursts from the talismans, blinding, purifying.
The shadows dissolve, disintegrate, and then...
A terrible howl echoed through the forest as Tunko Caviya was ripped from my body. Defeat, fury, his grip broken.
Utterly expelled.
Freedom. That description, ripped from my body, is so violent, so final.
And then the silence afterwards emphasizes the relief, but also the power of those talismans.
It's liberation.
Right.
Reclaiming the self. But you know the root trauma lingers. It has to.
The immediate aftermath, the narrator just gasping for breath, it's over.
Yeah. His body is his own again. Feels fragile, probably surreal.
The twisted reflection was gone. My hands normal, my shadow still. The laughter, the whispers vanished.
Simple observations, but so significant. The return of identity. The end of the torment. Quiet, exhausted relief.
And the cousins just staring. Pale, wide-eyed. That says so much, doesn't it? The shared trauma.
More than words could. Bonded by that terror. And Kenji whispers, "Are you? God, you!"
That question just hangs there, loaded. Are you really back? Are you okay? Undamaged.
Captures the lingering doubt. The fragility of identity after something like that. How do you even process it?
And the resolution isn't celebration, it's flight.
Pure escape. Without a word, we turned and ran. Out of the woods, past the village, onto the first train back.
Putting distance between themselves and the shrine, and the unspoken pact.
We never spoke of that night again. Never returned. Collective suppression, burying it deep.
Because it was too terrifying, too unbelievable to talk about.
Probably. Highlights the lasting psychological impact. Some trauma is just unspeakable. It lives inside you instead.
But the story doesn't let us forget, does it? That chilling final note.
No. But sometimes, late at night, in the silence of my room, I hear it.
A whisper, low, raspy. You cannot run forever.
Haunting. The curse, even if physically broken, remains. A psychological scar. A persistent echo. The fear endures.
So it leaves us wondering, is the curse really gone? Or just dormant, a whisper forever at the edge of hearing?
Exactly. And what does this deep dive tell us about, well, the allure of those forbidden places? About human resilience against pure terror.
And the power of a legend, right? How it can cling to you even after the encounter ends.
Makes you question reality itself, doesn't it? What's solid, what's waiting just out of sight.
We've really gone deep into this narrative, explored how Ranganathan builds that dread, uses that vivid imagery.
Maintains the tension right to the end. It's a testament to how powerful storytelling can be. Evokes real feelings, real questions.
About reality, identity, belief, all of it.
Yeah. And maybe the real curse, the lasting one, isn't the entity itself.
But the doubt, the whisper that follows you home.
Exactly. Wondering if some experiences, once you touch them, can ever truly be left behind.
That's a powerful thought to chew on. Maybe makes you think twice about clicking on those sketchy websites.
Or exploring those hidden shrines, promising more than just a thrill.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and, keep being curious.